What you have in front of you is a, well, why don't we do this? Can anybody, other than the people I told what it was at the beginning of class, tell me some of the things they taste in the soup?
Bacon.
Bacon. Anything else? Squash. Anybody know what kind of squash? It is in fact kaboche squash. Kaboche squash is a Japanese pumpkin. When I first started making this soup, I did a version of this with butternut squash. Butternut squash to me doesn't have like the depth of flavor that kaboche squash has.
I realize that.
Also, it's got almost a pleasantly chalky consistency. So basically, the way I make this, well, we'll go back a little bit. This class is slow food in the art of braising.
I don't think either one of us have said that.
We're back to the beginning. Yeah. So, slow food in the art of braising. So today I am basically going to show you guys anything that's like winter, lovey, like slow cooked, homey, like, you know, makes you want to go to sleep afterwards. It's good it got a little colder today because I don't know if the soup would stand up to the 7 degrees we had yesterday. But, so the way I kind of do this is I start with a generous amount of really smoky slab bacon. And in an enormous pot, I cook all the slab bacon down until like all kind of like the bacony goodness and fat comes out of it. And then I use that fat to render an entire lobe of foie gras. So now I've like cooked down this foie gras and bacon, so now I have like this bacony, foie gras, oily like goodness that I just want to like spike in my arm. And I use that to saute carrots, celery, onions, garlic, shallots, kind of cook all this stuff down until it gets like really soft. And then I add the kaboche squash. A lot of people when they make squash soup will roast the squash ahead of time. I think that definitely adds a roasted characteristic, and that might be something good to do with butternut squash, because butternut squash doesn't have the flavor profile that kaboche squash has. By cooking it like only by sauteing, you're not just making like a roasted flavored soup, you're actually taking out the flavors of the squash. As you're sauteing it, you see all the steam coming out of the pan. That's all the moisture in the squash that's kind of rendering out. And when the moisture comes out, that's leaving room to put in other things like fat and cream. And, so if you notice, the soup is like kind of fluffy, and it's a little thicker than I normally might make, but since you guys are getting a smaller portion, I think you might be able to handle it. If you notice, it is thick, but it's not heavy. And kind of the way I achieve this with my puree soups is just by thickening with the pureed vegetables, by actually like getting a blender, slowly pureeing this until all the vegetables themselves kind of thicken the soup. Like I would never thicken a soup with flour or like a roux, like my mom does. It's like a really old school way of like achieving this richness by just like cooking it down, and then just thickening with the vegetables. What do you guys think of the soup?